Well, we're all set to go, and Lenny Dykstra will lead it off. Dykstra 1 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. A 2-base hit. He also drove in 2 runs, one with a sacrifice fly, and the first pitch by David Cone, a fastball for ball 1 as we get underway. The Mets 2.5 back are the Pittsburgh Pirates, who won an extra innings yesterday. Montreal in 3rd place. They trail by 10. Philadelphia in 4th, and they have 12 games out. Dykstra leading the league in hitting, and he fouls off a fastball, 1-1.
I've always been under the impression that on a day game after a night game, a pitcher should use his hard stuff early, because most of the guys who have played in the previous night's game are fatigued. The pitcher's fresh, and you have a good chance of overpowering hitters, because after all, it's what, 13 hours before these two teams met, or since they met.
And the 1-1 fastball on the inside corner. Called a strike. Dykstra not happy with the call. Dykstra has been hit by 6 pitches so far this year. New addition to the Mets.
Bit of a cruel shirt there. Bluto, the obese character in Popeye, the guy wearing it after Sid Fernandez.
And this ball popped up into foul territory, and Tuffle over to make the play as he shades his eyes from the sun. Something the Mets haven't seen for a while. So Dykstra is out, 1 away as we get underway. And a good fastball. So Cone staying with that fastball so far. And he has a good one. In his last 10 game starts, Cone has a record of 6 wins and 1 loss, and back again with a fastball. Strike 2 the call. Cone has struck out 10 or more batters 5 times this year. And that one a little introduction pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another one in tight, 2-2. Cone had a string of 4 consecutive games where he had 10 or more strikeouts, his high 12, tying his career high. Last to do that was Doc Gooden, who struck out 10 or more batters 5 straight times in 1984. And that pitch called a ball, and Mercado thought that was strike 3, and so did Cone.
4 straight fastballs, and then the curveball. Mercado was ready to throw the ball to 3rd base. Oh boy, Dalton got away with one right there.
Got lucky there. Now he gets one, and it's called a ball.
Now that was high there.
So finally going to the curveball, and Dalton works out a walk on 2 close calls.
David's you got to restrain him right now. He's upset. He's actually talking to Fred Brocklander. He went in there under the guise of changing balls. Mercado's got to get him out of there.
Well, that's one thing a pitcher does not want to do.
Get him out of there. Push him toward the mound. That's it right there.
So Cone visibly upset with those calls. I thought he had Dalton struck out on the pitch before the last one.
Oh yeah,
really
that 2-2 pitch. Yeah, that 2-2 pitch is a strike. Now Wendelstedt out to talk to him. David, a very deceptive demeanor in that he can really get wired, and very high strung, very calm and gentlemanly, but under that a very, and I mean very, fiercely competitive nature. There's that 2-2 pitch once again, and it completely fooled Fred Brocklander. That's all you can say.
That was the first curve that he has thrown, and now Von Hayes hits the dirt. A fastball there, and it's ball 1. Von Hayes with a home run in last night's ball game. In his last 5 games, he's had 3 home runs, all 3 coming with Dale Murphy in the lineup.
David's got to take a deep breath. You can tell he's a little hyper out there. He realizes that, you know, the Mets' hopes may rest with their pitching staff, and probably will for the rest of the season. They're not going to blow you out every game. Their offense is better than average, but not that much better than average. Their pitching staff is going to win it for them, and Cone realizes that.
The 1-0 pitch to Von Hayes. This hit the deep right field, a fastball, but pulled foul. So Von Hayes ready for the fastball and just getting around too far. 1 ball, 1 strike. Von Hayes with 13 home runs, 49 runs batted in, hitting .265, and he is really hoping that the presence of Dale Murphy as a power hitter behind him will get him a lot more fastballs. There you see Dale Murphy. The runner goes, but the pitch is popped up. At shortstop, Howard Johnson, and he makes the play, and 2 men away.
That's one thing. If you start looking for holes, then you're the one who's in trouble, because what you're saying is you haven't been getting enough fastballs in the past. And Von Hayes has put some pretty good numbers up. So really what you're saying there is you're making an excuse for your lack of production in the past. Tell me that makes sense.
And there's a breaking ball to Murphy for ball 2. Murphy 15 years with the Atlanta Braves. The team lost 90 or more games 7 times in those 15 years and never won 90. He played for 8 managers with Atlanta, 32 coaches, 3 general managers, and 209 teammates. Long tenure with Atlanta. Murphy hitting .233 with 17 home runs, none since he came to the Phillies, and this ball grounded to third. Tough chance for Tuffle. He makes a good play on it. Takes the short way, picks up the force play, and that retires his side. A walk and 1 left, and the score at the end of 1/2 inning. Philadelphia nothing. And here is the pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, Don Carmen, 5-0. His first start of the year. All those wins in relief, 3.71 ERA. The opposition unable to handle him this year. He's held the opposition to a 179 average. And for the Mets, it'll be Keith Miller to lead it off. Miller hitting .285, 0 for 2 in last night's game, and playing center field today. And Carmen's first pitch of ball. Miller with 1 home run, 8 runs batted in. Last 18 games, he's at .333. And the fastball again. This one fouled off 1-1.
Mets need somebody to open their eyes, and Keith Miller could be that player. You know how animated he is. It's almost like a cup of coffee in the morning that gets you going. Well, Keith Miller's the type of player that can get the Mets going.
When he first joined the Mets, he took off. Batted around .370 in about 30 games a few years back, and the pitch is hit off the hands, blooped into left center. That might be what the Mets are looking for.
Rest of the lineup, by the way, Dave Magadan batting.
Left field, Dykstra in center, Murphy in right, and Magadan an idea about bunting for a base hit, and he fouls it off. Magadan hitting .338, 0 for 3 last night. He's had 4 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Dave just short of qualifying for the batting race. You have to have 3.1 plate appearances per game that the club has played. And in about 2 weeks, he should qualify if he plays every game and bats 4 times. Has 4 plate appearances. And this pitch is fouled away. Two strikes the count on Dave Magadan. Magadan started the season going just 2 for 16, and since that time, batting .351. He got it going back on April 22nd. After that 2 for 16 start. And there's a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Where was that pitch? I mean, if David Cohn thinks his pitch was a strike, well, Don Carmen has an equal complaint with this 0-2 breaking ball. Wow.
That's what you call squeezing the strike zone. A hitter's umpire, and here's the pitch back inside, 2-2.
long as it's consistent for both sides, hitters don't complain, or pitchers don't complain, but try to be consistent. That's what you want.
2-2 the count. Miller with 14 stolen bases, a runner at first base. He's been thrown out once. And Magadan takes again, and it's ball 3. And you could bet the farm, the house, and your car, possibly not your wife, that he'll be running on this pitch. Chuck Hiller, the third base coach for the Mets. On the other side, Mike Covich. 3-2. And there he goes, and the pitch is ball 4. So Magadan, after having a 2-strike count, works out a walk. Magadan with his 40th walk of the year, his on-base average well over 400. And that puts runners at first and second for Greg Jeffries, who was 0 for 4 last night. Jeffries hitting .303. Last 11 games, .356. Greg with 13 home runs, 52 runs batted in. And he goes after fastball, strike 1. Against Philadelphia, Jeffries hitting .243 in his major league career with 6 home runs. Don Carmen, the pitcher for the Phillies. And the fastball fouled away, strike 2.
Greg's has not been patient for the last 3 or 4 games, going after balls out of the strike zone. It's unlike Jeffries to do that, but both of those balls thrown by Carmen were high.
And coming after he had walked a batter. Jeffries about the same from both sides of the plate, batting average wise. The 2-strike pitch, a ball, and it's 1-2. Jeffries with 399 at bats this year, 121 hits, 27 doubles. Goes after a bad pitch, tops it out to third. They'll get a force play, and that's all, as Miller slides hard into third. Unhappy with his performance, and that'll bring up Kevin McReynolds, who's batting 4th today. McReynolds batting .259. He was 0 for 3 last night. He has 14 home runs, 54 RBIs, and he takes strike 1.
You know, over anxious is not a redundant term, because it's good to have anxiety, but not too much of it. Anxiety, excitement, animation to hit. But when you're over anxious, then you're going out of your zone.
Contained aggression. The 1 strike, and it's popped up, and it will be playable. John Kruk, the first baseman, in foul territory, 2 men away. That'll bring up in his major league career against the Philadelphia Phillies with 28 home runs.
The last time Strawberry faced Carmen, his last at bat, he homered against him on the 25th of July.
He's hit 5 home runs off Don Carmen, and he's batted .293 against him. Darrell hitting .285 on the year. First pitch, fastball for ball 1. Mets as a team hitting .262. That's 6th in the National League. They lead in home runs with 126. They also lead in runs scored with 530. They lead the major leagues in runs scored. They have averaged 5 runs a game, but not of late. They have been in a slump. The 1-0 pitch to Strawberry, way inside for ball 2. So Darrell, after a torrid July, having a tough August. And the breaking ball for ball 3. Strawberry hit .214 in May with 5 home runs. In June, he hit .402 with 10 home runs. Got going well in July and then has slumped off. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and Darrell taking. It's ball 4, and that will load up the bases and bring up Howard Johnson. Johnson hitting .246, 0 for 3 last night. He's had 16 home runs, 58 runs batted in. But the real story on Howard Johnson this year is how he has hit right-handed. Batting only .207 right-handed with 4 home runs. He's hitting .270 batting left-handed with 12 home runs. Bases loaded for the Mets here in the bottom half of the first inning. And Carmen's pitch, a breaking ball for ball 1. Carmen brought a 6-game winning streak into this game, extending back to last year. All those wins were in relief. His last win as a starting pitcher back in 1989 on August 16th. That was a 6-2 win over the Dodgers. And the fastball, a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carmen pitched a 1-hit shutout against the Mets in 1987. It was against David Cone. That was his last shutout. And he's faced the Mets now 36 times more. He has faced the Mets more than he has faced any other team that he has pitched against in the National League. The 1-1 pitch, and it's fouled off the end of the bat, 1-2, and Johnson way out in front of that pitch. Is one of those losses to the Mets. One and 2 the count to Howard Johnson. Pirates with the night game at home against Montreal tonight. They lead the Mets by 2.5. They have won 3 in a row. The 1-2 delivery, and it's outside. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Carmen missing with a fastball. Magadan at third base, Jeffries at second, and Strawberry at first. Johnson has hit a grand slam home run this year. It was against Lancaster, the Cubs. Here's the 2-2 pitch, ball 3, and it's a full count now as Carmen misses badly. So the runners will be in motion with a full count and 2 men out. Nick Leva, the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. They have done much better than most people expected this year. 3 games under 500 with a 52-55 record. It's trying to break through here with the bases loaded, 2 men out. Bottom half of the first inning, and the runners go, and it's ball 4. The Mets get a run. So Magadan scores. The Mets lead 1-0, and the bases are still loaded with Tim Tuffle coming up.
Tuffle may be the best right-handed hitter right now for the
Tuffle hitting .253. 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in. He's hit 2 home runs against the Phillies in his major league career, but hitting only .213. Errol Knowles, a pitching coach, a man who faced the Mets 7 times in the World Series in 1973. The only man to pitch every game of a World Series. And the first pitch to Tuffle, it is called a ball, and that pitch was close, a breaking ball. So Carmen behind Tuffle.
See Dalton right there. Umpires don't like for you to show him up back there. So Dalton telling Brocklander something. Brocklander's strike zone so far has been as tight as a drum.
Now the 1-0 pitch to Tuffle. He takes a fastball right on through, and it's 1-1. Tuffle looked geared for that fastball, but didn't swing.
Well, he was tricked on the pitch. You can be looking for a pitch, as you know, but if the pitcher jerks it inside and throws it on the inside corner, it can fool you.
Now the fastball fouled back, and it's 1-2 as Carmen, after walking a run in, gets out in front with a 1-2 count.
He'd been out in front twice, though. He was 0-2 to Magadan, walked him. 1-2 to Johnson, walked him. That last pitch is the one Timmy wanted back.
Good pitch to hit. He had a good cut at it, didn't get it. One ball, 2 strikes. And it's grounded out to third base. Hayes with a throw to first base in time, and that will end the inning. The Mets get 1. And Cohn starts out with a fastball. It's lined to left field where McReynolds makes the catch. Kruk not one to take many pitches, and he proved it right there. That'll bring up Tommy Herr.
Second baseman, number 28, Tom Herr.
Home with a record of 7-5, no wins, no losses to the Phillies this year. Last year he was 1-0 against the Phillies. His lifetime record, 3 wins and 1 loss. So Kruk back to the bench. And Tommy Herr, the batter, and he takes a strike.
Nice haircut. John Kruk, and that seems to be stylish nowadays, to have the razor cut and say razor cut right above the ears and then have the rest of the hair grow long. Maybe ears are in today. I don't know.
Tommy Herr the same.
Yeah, but Herr doesn't have the razor. See, he doesn't have the shave right above the ears.
He's got a haircut. 1-1 the count to Tommy Herr, hitting .270 with 4 home runs and 48 runs batted in. A foul tip, and it's 1-2. The Phillies against right-handed starters with a record of 33-37. And the breaking ball fouled away, 1-2. Phillies as a team lead the National League in walks. They have a team batting average of .259. They're 8th in the National League as Lenny Dykstra gets his face in the picture.
Same haircut as Kruk.
They got to be alike in all ways. And the fastball, ball 2, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball fouled back into the stands. And the split finger fastball. Check swing foul ball. The count stays at 2-2.
See, that's a new fad. You saw David Cohn with no sideburns. In the early 70s, late 70s, sideburns were in. Sideburns aren't in anymore. You saw David Cohn. See, ears are in, sideburns are out. Now for men, Ralph, that's a new word on fashion.
Then you're really in. 2-2 the count.
Are you getting on the size of my ears?
No.
Your ears are as big as mine.
Well, I got a. I guess you got a bigger head though, haven't you?
Mine just.
What
yeah,
size cap did you wear?
7 3/4.
Yeah, you got me. Right.
I got a lot of guys.
Not Bocce though.
Bruce Bochy.
Bochy. He had the biggest, didn't he? Good curveball, and Cohen gets his first strikeout. Cohen started out third in the National League in strikeouts with 139. 44 runs batted in. And the fastball a called strike. Hayes a good road hitter. His road show 306 average with 7 of his 9 home runs hit on the road.
Got to go out of the strike zone right now. Charlie Hayes does not like to walk. As a matter of fact, he's walked only 17 times, 19 times actually, but 2 of those times intentional.
And Cohen does just that as he goes outside and low with the curve, and it's 1-2.
Do it again.
Only get it closer.
Make it, make it a little more appetizing right here. These are teasers. Here's the first teaser right here.
And he comes back with a fastball. It's foul tipped. And Mercado's saying it wasn't foul tipped.
Yeah, but it was. You could tell, and he dropped it, and Orlando just dropped the ball. It appeared to have stuck in his glove. Here's the first breaking ball on the outside part. Hayes almost bites. See? Almost. And now the fastball out of the strike zone, and he foul tipped it.
Now back to the live action again. The breaking ball outside. And no check swing strike call by first base umpire Randy Marsh.
He looked like he went around, didn't he?
Sure did.
This is what Randy, or this is the second pitch. Now the foul tip. You see, Mercado almost caught that ball, but he didn't take it out of the glove cleanly.
So again, the 2-2 pitch, and that curveball puts him right on the ground. That pitch wasn't even close to him. I think he wasn't looking. Fastball. Full count, 3-2. Back with a curve, a strike. So Cohen strikes out 2 of 3 in the second. Mets lead him 1-0, and Orlando Mercado the batter, and he goes after the first pitch and fouls it back into the stands. And Don Carmen with a fastball for a ball, and it's 1-1. Carmen gave up a single to his first batter, walked 3. He's 29 pitches in the first inning. And the off-speed pitch swung on and missed, 1-2. His third walk, forcing in a 1 run for the Mets, and they lead it by a 1-0 margin. And the changeup gets him. So Mercado, fooled by the change of pace. Carmen gets his first strikeout, and that'll bring up David Cohn. Base hit. And that ball right behind his head. So a little retaliation there, and boy, that was not even subtle.
That was behind him. It's a good thing David Cohn didn't move back in the strike zone. Yeah, that was intentional. Well, Cohn knocked down Von Hayes. He didn't knock down Charlie Hayes because that was a curveball. But Cohn will do that. So expect retaliation sometime. It's part of the game.
Well, Cohn, well, I'll tell you, he's got a short fuse. He is really hot right now. But fortunately is contained, and the 3-0 pitch, and he takes that for a called strike, 3-1. Well, those eyes tell a great story. I don't know about Carmen when he comes up. Might be interesting. Here's a 3-1 pitch, and he walks him. So Cohn takes his walk, and the Mets have a runner on with 1 man out, and Keith Miller the batter. Miller with the only hit of the game. A bloop hit to left center. 4th walk by Carmen. And the Mets with Cone on at first base with one out.
I only have eyes for you. And you in this case is Don Carmen.
There's some daggers in there. Here's the pitch. Miller takes it. The ball rolls away, but not far enough, and Cone stays at first. And after the walk to Cone, the first pitch of ball, so Dalton goes out to talk to his pitcher.
Hey, if you can get another team excited enough to draw a walk, left-hander against left-hander, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
David Cone knocking down a couple of guys, and now he gets a breeze ball from Don Carmen, and Carmen ends up walking it.
You can live with that.
You can live with that. Yeah, like the ad says. That's good, Rob. All right. We can live with that.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to Miller, and he takes it high for ball 2, and it's 2-0. Mets trying to break a 4-game losing streak. They lead 1-0 as we play here in the bottom of the second. This ball popped up into shallow left center. Long run for Hayes. He can't get to it. It drops in. And Thon, the shortstop, gave up on the ball. But Hayes, playing a very deep left field, just could not get to it, and too deep against Keith Miller.
Absolutely. You know, we talk about outfield positioning a lot. And when this ball has this much hang time, somebody's got to catch it. This is the big leagues, but judging from the position of Von Hayes, it's not big league positioning.
So Miller gets his second blue hit to left center field, and that puts runners at first and second. It brings up Dave Magadan, who walked in the 3-2 pitch his first time up.
All you can do as a defensive player is make a guy earn a hit. If he hits it hard in front of you into the position, there's nothing you can do about that. But when you give up those types of hits, boy, that is losing baseball right there.
And the first pitch is taken by Magadan for a called strike. Hayes has been playing right field, but that's no excuse.
No.
Hayes also very deep against Magadan. Center fielder Dykstra playing the shallow center field, something he never did with the Mets. The 1-strike pitch, a breaking ball outside, 1-1. There's the defensive alignment of the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets leading 1-0, threatening with runners at first and second. Magadan with a count of 1-1, and 1 man out. Carmen has thrown a lot of pitches so far. This ball hit out to left field. Von Hayes has a long way to go. He's got the glasses down, turns and catches the ball in the warning track. Cone tagged up, and now going over to third on the throw to second base. A big mistake by Von Hayes. And the Mets have a runner at third base. As Cone tagged up with the play, and when Von Hayes threw behind him, he just eased over to third base. So a mental mistake by Von Hayes.
Well, it's not as big a play because now there are 2 outs, and but the one thing it does do, it clears second base, so possibly Keith Miller can steal the base. Cone going over to third after Hayes threw behind him.
And the batter coming up, Greg Jeffries. Greg grounded into a force play his first time up. And this pitch in tight for a ball, as Carmen is having all kinds of control problems. Carmen has made 4 wild pitches this year, so that's a possibility. And a swing at a bad pitch again, and it's 1-1. Jeffries is really over anxious. 0 for 4 last night, and Jeffries the type of hitter that doesn't like to take any offers. Not many do, but he thinks he should get a hit all the time. Sometimes that's a good positive attitude, sometimes it isn't. And this pitch inside for a ball. It's 2-1. Miller at first base with 14 stolen bases in 15 attempts. Very short lead at first, and this pitch a ball, and it's ball 3, and it's 3-1. On deck batter Kevin McReynolds. Good chance that Miller will be running here. Bud Harrelson likes to put the runners in motion on 3-1 counts.
I don't think it's a good play to run him here.
He does not, and the ball hit along the line to left center field. It could be extra bases. Dykstra over, falls down. Coming around third is Miller, and there'll be a play at the plate. The throw not in time. Miller just crashing into Dalton, and the Mets get 2. Aggressive base running, and Miller with a diving approach to home plate, and he would have been safe anyway, but he turns Dalton upside down.
Dykstra slips, and Chuck Heller makes an excellent play as the third base coach by sending Miller. Boy, you just hate those head first slides, and into catchers you are asking for trouble. The left shoulder of Keith Miller is the thing that took the brunt of the collision with Darren Dalton. Those shin guards are hard, believe me.
And now the batter Kevin McReynolds, and that pitch is high for ball 1.
I appreciate the zeal of Keith Miller, but I question, you know, the constant intelligence of a runner who goes head first into catchers. You're just asking for an injury.
It's like running into brick walls. You eventually lose. And this pitch is popped up and playable. Charlie Hayes, the third baseman out there, now being run off by Kruk, and Kruk makes the catch, and that retires the side. But the Mets get 2 big runs. 70 for the year with 6 home runs, and he goes after the first pitch, a fastball, and skies it out to center field. Keith Miller puts it away. Miller appears to be all right after tearing up. Well, he's limping a little bit. I wonder he's alive.
Yeah, if he hurt anything, it could be his left shoulder. I'll tell you, the key situation right here, if I'm David Cohn, I do not want to throw at Don Carmen.
Well, you're going to get a Miller late and getting back to center. Here's the pitch that Carmen threw at Cohn.
I'm not worried about a warning. I just wouldn't throw at him.
And Carmen looking for the knockdown pitch, moving right out of there as the pitch was ball 1.
It'd have been appropriate last night to step in the bucket because there were a lot of buckets of water out here. Look at Carmen.
And he's already he's gone. He's ready to leave right now. The train is at the station. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and the fastball again, 1-2.
That's good theory by Cohn. You don't want to. You got a 3-0 lead. Part of the reason for that is Carmen threw at Cohn.
That's right. He walked it.
Yeah, he ends up walking Cohn. Cohn scores the second run of the game.
Carmen did him a favor, and the Mets a favor, and the fastball swung on and missed. Carmen 3 for 8 before the strikeout. Cohn gets his third strikeout, got him on fastballs. And that'll bring up Lenny Dykstra. Dykstra fouled out his first time up. So Dykstra taking his time coming to the plate.
Trying to slow Cohn down. David likes to work very fast.
He has accomplished that. Cohn really in a groove right now. He has struck out 3 of his last 4 batters. And the breaking ball and a good pitch, a called strike. Dykstra is starting this game hitting .346, 8 points ahead of Andre Dawson, who is second in the National League batting race. Cubs, Andre Dawson, of course, with the Cubs, leading all National League teams in team batting. They are struggling. 13 games behind the Pirates in 5th place. 1 game back of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Even though they have won 16 of their last 21 ball games, Cubs have played very well lately.
There's a real cone hit there. 2 strikes to count. Dykstra takes a close pitch for a ball. It's 1-2. And it's looped into right field for a base hit. Dykstra will try for 2. Strawberry with the throw, and it's not in time. Dykstra will now hold at second base as that throw gets away. And Dykstra wisely staying at second with 2 men out.
This is a situation where it's good pitching, good selection, and better hitting. Len Dykstra, the fastball inside with a count 1-2. The best time to jam a jammable hitter is with 2 strikes. Because the jammable hitter is the guy who's protecting the outside part of the plate. That's one of the big reasons that Dykstra's leading the National League in hitting, however, hitting tough pitches like that.
First hit given up by Cone. Dykstra getting the double. Is now tied for second in doubles in the National League with Chris Sable. Both have 28. Wallach leads with 30. Also in there is Jeffries with 27. And the batter, Darren Dalton. He gets a curveball, grounds it out to the second baseman, Jeffries. The throw to first retires the side. So
hangers as a kid, get a penny a piece to the dry cleaners. I used to sell coat hangers to the dry cleaners for a penny a piece. I'll tell you, hangers are worth a lot more nowadays. And that was a hanging curveball to Darryl Strawberry right in that zone.
Is that a wire hanger or a wooden hanger?
Only wire hangers. They wouldn't accept wooden hangers.
So the hanging pitch hit the right field for the base hit, and Howard Johnson, the batter. Howard walked in a 3-2 pitch his first time up. He gets a curveball and takes it for strike 1.
I was forced into entrepreneurship at a very young age.
One strike to count. And a check swing foul ball. While we're on a diverse subject, got an interesting letter from a lady, and she said to me, "Why are you always saying that Tim McCarver is on special assignment?" She said, "You said that," nice ice cream cone, "when Steve Zabriskie was missing last year and he is no longer broadcasting." Well, that same thing happened to Tim McCarver.
Well,
swing and a miss.
Well,
we'll have to stay tuned to find out. But we were taken to task by Mike Lupica because we said you were on special assignment when you were away broadcasting games in another network, which you do quite frequently.
Yeah, what do you mean we? I was away.
No, well, the we was me. And it's being used editorially. So Howard Johnson is out on strikes, and that'll bring up Tim Tuffle. Tuffle made the last out of the first inning when he grounded out to third, hit the ball well. And he takes the first pitch, a called strike. You know, there's only one thing better than a Mets win, and that's celebrating that win with a nice cold Budweiser. Mets fans, this Bud's for you. Strawberry a very short lead at first base, now edging up a bit. The pitch to Tuffle, line to left field for a base hit. Soft line drive. Strawberry to second and holding there. And the Mets have runners at first and second with one out.
Jimmy Jam with that inside fastball and just loops it over the head of Charlie Hayes, fielded by Von Hayes to keep Strawberry at second. Good hitting by Tuffle.
Orlando Mercado struck out, swinging at a changeup. The runner goes at second base. The throw down to third is in time, and Strawberry is out.
Good try, though. 1 out. You got a 3-0 lead. Bottom of the order up. Why wait for a base hit out of Mercado or David Cone? Why not make it easier on him to be driven in? And that's what Darrell was thinking. Dalton had a good pitch to throw and nails him easily. Nice try. It's the way I look at it.
I agree with you. You got the bottom of the order coming up. Mercado is not especially a proven hitter where he could score the runner on an out rather than on a base hit. And
most base running mistakes are made by guys not trying to take the extra base. When Darrell takes a legitimate risk trying to steal third with 1 out, hey, you got a 3-0 lead. That's the time to do it.
Pitch back is swung on and missed. If there's a downside to that play, it's the fact that Tuffle didn't go to second.
Yeah, it's kind of tough on the guy at first. Number one, Tuffle's not a fast runner. And number two, he doesn't know what kind of jump the guy gets on second. Not imperative for him to run in that situation.
And a ground ball deep short on through for a base hit. And Mercado has a base hit, his first ever against the Philadelphia Phillies.
So now everybody's saying, what do you mean it's a good play to be thrown out, right?
Well, he wouldn't have scored from second on that base hit. So runners now at first and second with David Cone the batter.
Well, that's 0-1 and 0 for the Phillies. The only base hit off David Cone, a double by Len Dykstra. Curve is high, says Fred Brocklander. Ball 1. Mets trying to break a 4-game losing streak. They have lost 4 in a row 3 different times this season. Splitter, Hayes holds off of it. It's 2-0. He does have 14 career homers against the Mets, however, 9 at Veterans Stadium, 5 here at Shea. It's 3 balls, no strikes to Von Hayes. Future big leaguer right there. There's a strike, 3-1. And it's low. Von Hayes, who is 6th in the National League in walks, draws walk number 58 on the year. Make that 60 on the year for Von. The first walk, or no, David Cone walked Dalton back in the first inning, so the second walk issued by David, and the batter Dale Murphy, who grounded to third in the first inning. Murphy coming to the Phillies for right-handed pitcher Jeff Parrott and 2 minor leaguers yet to be named. This ball eludes Magadan. Hayes not as likely to run with the Phillies trailing by 3, but he will run. Cone this year did not win his first game until May 19th when he beat the Padres. Fouled away. 0-1 to Dale Murphy. Breaking ball outside, 1-1 to Dale. 3-0. Mets on top here in the top of the 4th inning. A 1-hitter so far for David Cone. Breaking ball left side and by Howard Johnson. Hayes stops at second base. That's the second Philly hit, and they're threatening here in the fourth with 2 on and nobody out, and John Kruk coming up. Kruk lined out hard to left field his first at bat. Breaking ball and a beauty. If you're thinking double play, it's the right man to do it. Of all the Phillies that have been with the team all year long, Kruk leads the Phillies in grounding into double plays. He's done it 9 times. 1-1. On deck batter Tommy Herr. Hayes at second base, Murphy at first, nobody out. 3-0 Mets here in the fourth. Breaking ball lined hard into left center. On is Miller to make the play. Boy, Keith really got a good jump on that ball. John Kruk has hit the ball hard twice, but he's 0 for 2. 1 away here in the fourth.
Second baseman Tom Hurd.
Miller is still limping from that takeout at home plate. Gets a very good jump on this ball. He's in motion the minute it's hit. And it's a relatively easy play because of his fine jump.
You can see him noticeably favoring, it appears, that left leg. He's a tough player, I'll tell you, nitty gritty. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast that if anybody could enliven the Mets, it would be Keith Miller. And he's had a good game. He's 2 for 2 as Tom Hurd takes ball 1.
Back in 1987, he joined the Mets and hit 373 in 25 games with 8 stolen bases, and then got injured when he made a headfirst slide into third and jammed a finger. Had to have an operation after the season because of that.
Line drive, base hit, left field. Hayes will try to score. The throw, Hayes slips down. Now the throw home, got him. Boy, did the Mets take or get a break there. Oh, man. It just goes to show you always complete the play.
Just going to say that, Tim. The Mets went through with the play the way they should. McReynolds threw the ball to the cutoff man toward home. If he had not done that, they never would have gotten Von Hayes. Throw goes into the cutoff man, as it should. And then the throw into the plate after Hayes had fallen down is in plenty of time to get the man. If you just flip that ball into the infield, you don't get it.
That's right. So a big break for the Mets. 2 out. And Charlie Hayes swings and misses. 0-1 to Charlie.
I'll tell you, the way that Charlie Hayes is falling away from that curveball, I would never throw him a fastball.
He is a free swinger. Fly ball right center, and the breaking ball again, and Strawberry is there, and the Mets are out of it. A fortunate break for the Mets. Miller limping to the plate. He's 2 for 2 with a run scored. 3-0 New York here in the fourth. Ball 1.
Well, Von Hayes, who's still playing a deep outfield against Miller, falls down right here. And the Mets complete the play to home as Tuffle realized the throw from McReynolds, and they save a run as Hayes stumbles halfway between third and home.
Proving once again that slips should hold ships, not players. 2 balls and no strikes to Keith Miller. Miller now 3 for 3.
Mets get their 7th base hit, and let's look at the Nissan National League scoreboard. Cubs underway in Chicago, no score, bottom of the 2nd inning. Montreal later against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh leading the Mets by 2.5 games. San Francisco, no score in Houston, top of the 2nd inning. San Diego and Atlanta later, and the Dodgers playing Cincinnati later.
Magadan now. Line drive, base hit, center field. Miller's going to try for third and make it. So the Mets with runners at first and third, and you just wonder whether Miller's going to make it through 9 innings.
Well, he's doing the job of getting on base, and Magadan follows with a big base hit. And Miller, of course, hustling all the way, going from first to third on a hard hit ball to center field. Actually, an idea about throwing to third, and then decides against it, and there it is again, that head first slide. This time, no catcher's equipment in the way.
So 8 hits for the Mets now, and that'll bring up Greg Jeffries, a booming 2-out double in the 2nd inning, plated 2. Runners at first and third, none out. The Mets with a 3-0 lead and looking for more. Ball 1.
Jeffries a big 2-out double in the 2nd inning to give the Mets 2 runs.
Another base hit. 3 ropes to lead off the 4th, and the Mets are ahead 4-0. We're not even through the 4th inning, and you just have to wonder whether Keith Miller is going to make it through 9 innings.
And the phone call proving we're all connected. The bullpen starting to work. Jeffries on that fastball and lining the ball to left field where Miller scores easily. This time he didn't have to make contact.
3 RBIs now for Greg Jeffries, and Kevin McReynolds swings and misses. 0-1 to Kevin. Bruce Ruffin now is up and throwing for the Phillies. There's Irish Mike Ryan. I'll tell you one thing. If you were in a foxhole in a battle, there's the guy, the #1 guy that you would want next to you. Number 5, Mike Ryan. And a bunt and a beauty. Hayes throws it away. And a fan interferes, but Magadan scores. 1 base will be awarded to Mets base runners. It's 5-0 New York, and McReynolds crossing up everybody.
Well, he certainly crosses up everybody. Charlie Hayes tries to make a great play on it. Would not have got him. It's a base hit. An error charge to Charlie Hayes as Magadan comes in to score from second. And the ball out of play as a fan touches it.
So 4 straight hits as Magadan scores. Now Strawberry. 1 for 1. Ball 1. Darrell tied in home runs, 26 home runs, tied with Kevin Mitchell of the Giants. Hits this one to right field, playable. Murphy, shallow. Jeffries will try to score. The throw, not in time. Jeffries eluding the diving Dalton. 6-0 New York. Sounds like a new circus act.
Diving Dalton. Well, Murphy has a strong arm. His arm about as strong as anybody's in baseball, and the throw up the line just a shade, and somehow Jeffries able to get by Dalton with that sidestep and still able to touch home plate.
Oh, that's a good shot right there.
Great shot from our new camera position.
Yeah.
Get an idea of what it looks like to the outfield.
So the infield moving in with McReynolds at third base, and Howard Johnson takes strike 1. 6-0 now. The Mets with 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 here in the 4th. First start of the year has been a rough one for Don Carmen. One and one to Johnson. I mentioned Kevin Mitchell is tied with Strawberry. He is indeed, but Ryan Sandberg also has 26 home runs. So 3 are tied for the top spot in home runs in the National League: Sandberg, Mitchell, and Strawberry. Ball and 2 strikes to Hojo. Nick Leyva on the wrong side today, the right side last night. Phillies winning 9-0. The Mets ahead in this one 6-0. 2-2 to Johnson. Tim Tuffle on deck. Way inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Hojo. You're watching Mets Baseball 90 on WWOR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. I'm Tim McCarver along with Ralph Kiner. Kind of neat to have a midweek, midday game. And Johnson walks. That could be all for Don Carmen. He has thrown a lot of pitches, faced a lot of hitters. No movement yet out of Nick Leyva.
Carmen's the second batter when the Phillies come up, but I think it's too late to worry about not using somebody. He'd have to make a double switch if he took the pitcher out now.
Well, Ken Howell of the Phillies just on the DL. Jason Grimsley was recalled. Hey, it's not very much fun when you are a manager in the major leagues and for 2 straight years you have no pitching rotation. None. Talking to Nick, and Leyva said that, you know, it's better this year, but you just can't go out there with any set rotation. The Mets, on the other hand, have 6 starters. Ball 1 to Tuffle.
That's pitch number 81 in this game for Carmen.
And 1 out here in the 4th inning. 1-1 to Timmy, who is 1 for 2. He singled in the 3rd. Ten hits for the Mets in this ball game.
5 walks.
5 walks. A sacrifice fly. Only 1 extra base hit of those 10. Had a double by Jeffries. Strike 2 to Tuffle. Got it. Fastball on the inside corner gets Tim Tuffle. And I would imagine Buddy Harrelson's looking for an out here somewhere so you can get the Phillies retired in the top of the 5th, because it is getting cloudy once again here at Shea Stadium. Strikeout number 3 for Don Carmen. You almost smell the rain. Deluge in last night's game prevented the starting time, or prevented the game from going on time. An hour and 40-minute delay.
Reminds me of the old days of the curfew in Pennsylvania when you couldn't play a game on Sunday later than 7 o'clock.
Blue laws, right?
Blue laws, and batters are trying to make outs, get the game in, keep the other team from getting credit for the runs they scored in the top half of an inning. Swinging the balls in the ground.
Delaying schemes by the opposing manager.
Manager's going to the mound, walking slowly in from the bullpen.
There goes Johnson. This one cued foul. No hit and run on then. He ran, and Johnson running, and Mercado cueing it foul. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Orlando. You don't put the hit and run on with 2 outs. The hitter may swing and the runner may run, but it's not a hit and run.
That age-old question you get every once in a while, why is it called a hit and run? The runner runs first. Why isn't it called a run and hit play?
2-2 to Mercado.
But that's the way it is. Over the years of baseball, it's like the 500, 3 games over 500. Technically, that's not really correct, but that's the way they call it. You know where you stand.
Outside, 3-2, so Johnson will be running with the count 3-2, 2 outs. 6-0 New York on top. We're in the 4th. McReynolds at third base and Johnson at first. There's Kevin. And there's Hojo. Fouled away, so we'll do it again. Mets entering today's action 2.5 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh hosting Montreal this evening. Doug Drabek going for victory number 15 on the year. And if he gets it, he will tie Frank Viola for the winningest pitcher in the National League. Still 3-2 to Mercado.
His last time out, he had a no-hitter going for 8 2. Yes.
And Carmen loses Mercado. As Orlando walks, that's walk number 6 given up by the threw at David Cone. Eventually walked him, and that opened up a 2-run second inning for the Mets. No balls, 2 strikes. Inside, ball 1. 1-2 to Cone. Cone down on strikes, but the Mets strike. Consent of the New York Mets and Sterling Doubleday Enterprises LP. WWOR-TV has prohibited any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing. Also prohibited. Dickie Thon leads it off here in the top of the 5th inning. The Mets trying to get it in. It is a strange cloud cover above. No sun shining. It smells of rain. Thon 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Strike 1. Dave Hollins has come into the on-deck circle and will be the pinch hitter for Don Carmen. Ball and a strike to Dickie Thon. Foul back, 1-2 to Dickie. Right about now, I would imagine Jim Leyland has just walked into his office. He's turned on the satellite dish or his TV in his office, and he is finding the Mets ahead 6-0. The Pirates playing this evening as Jeffries throws out Thon. 1 out here in the 5th. Jim Leyland, of course, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and in my opinion, at least as good as any other manager in the National League.
He's a good one,
I'll say.
Well, Dave Hollins, the pinch hitter, has done quite a job as a pinch hitter. He's had 4 hits. Well, that's not too impressive. He's driven in 4 runs. That's somewhat impressive. He's been up 25 times, but he's hit 3 home runs as a pinch hitter.
Dave formerly with the San Diego organization.
For Don Carmen, number 15, Dave Hollins.
Big, strong switch hitter, Dave Hollins. And he lines this one on the first pitch right to Magadan. Nice play by Dave. 2 outs here in the 5th.
Well, a good leap here. Michael Jordan type leap as, well, not quite Michael Jordan. Maybe bird leap.
Dave worked on his defense this past winter with Fred McGriff of the Toronto Blue Jays. They worked out together down in Tampa. Got a few pointers from Fred. And he has really done a very, very good job defensively this year. Here's Dykstra. He doubled in the third. And he fouls one hard down the right field line. 0-1 to Lenny.
Dykstra has hit one home run against the Mets, and that was an inside the park home run.
Remember the Oliver North incident and the shredding incident several years ago? It's what Dykstra does to tobacco. He shreds it. 1-1 to Lenny. Matter of fact, the Phillies front office has gotten a lot of mail. Close-ups of Lenny Dykstra and the tobacco pouring out of his mouth. It's just part of his persona. Whether it's healthy or not is insignificant as far as Dykstra's concerned. He said he's been doing it since he was 14. And here's the shredding process.
He and John Kruk. They should be brothers.
You know, Lenny continues to take his helmet off and put his hair back, but yet he's got a perm.
That's another part of his new look.
Maybe imaginary hair on the forehead. Fouled away. They're very, you know, with the gloved hand, he like fidgets his forehead and he's moving hair that's not there. The shredding process.
Old habit. His inside the park home run was off David Cohn.
.54 of his hits accounted by 18 games, and the curve is low. 2-2. You ought to have a contest with Lenny up. Guess the shenanigans.
Count the moves.
Have Wink Martindale host it. Fly ball right field. Strawberry loping in. And this game is official. It's 6-0 New York after 5½. We're back after this from Nissan. Bruce Ruffin is the new Philadelphia pitcher. He's 6-11 on the year. An ERA that has swelled up to 5.14. Largely responsible for that, the walks. 49 walks in 122 innings. He was scheduled to start today's game, but was moved to the bullpen only last night. It's only his second relief appearance of the year. And to call it for you over the next few innings, here's Ralph.
All right, Tim, and Keith Miller will lead it off again.
Carmen talking to Terry Mulholland, one of a bevy of left-handers that the Phillies have.
Carmen came into this game with a 6-game winning streak, all in relief, and that's in jeopardy as the Mets lead it by a score of 6-0. Miller 3 for 3. And the first pitch is strike.
Keith Miller's never had a 4-hit game in the big leagues.
Got a great chance now. Goes after that pitch for strike 2. He's hitting .298 with his 3 for 3. 1 home run on the year with 8 runs batted in. He started the game hitting .285, so a chance to get another base hit and go over 300. Close pitch, but a ball call, and it's 1-2. Mets with a run in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the fourth, leading 6-0. They have 6 runs on 10 hits. Struck him out, so Ruffin strikes out his first batter.
Nissan American League scoreboard shows only 1 game in action today. Baltimore at Oakland, just underway. Texas at Cleveland, Detroit at Toronto, Milwaukee, Minnesota, Chicago at KC. Chicago 3 games behind the Athletics. The Yankees at Seattle, Boston and California later on.
Oakland leading the White Sox by 3 games, and Boston leading Toronto by 2 in the respective divisions of the American League. Magadan takes ball 1. Magadan, with a base hit and 2 official at bats, has also walked and scored. He singled to center field in the 4th inning. And a good chance to be the National League batting champion. He's not too far away. Now hitting .341. He does not have enough plate appearances at this point, but about 10 or 12 games he will have, all things being equal. Dykstra started this game hitting .346. So Magadan right in between Dykstra and Andre Dawson. There's another base hit for Magadan, so he's edging up. What a story that would be if he led the league in hitting.
Mets have never had a hitter to lead the league in hitting. Mets organization, for the most part, built around pitching through their 30 years or 29 years of existence. Good swing by Dave Magadan, where he's got a pretty one. That front shoulder always closed.
And the first pitch to Jeffries, who's 2 for 3 in this game, and it's ball 1. Jeffries with a big 2-out double in the second to put the Mets up 3-0, driving in 2 runs. He also drove in a run in the 4th inning. Goes after the high fastball, fouls it back 1-1. I guess the highest batting average ever for a New York Mets player was Cleon Jones, who hit .340.
69, I believe.
1969. It was about this time of the year last year that Cleon Jones was removed from a game for not running after a ball. There's a fly ball to left field. Von Hayes right there. And on that play, Jones missed a ground ball, didn't chase it down in hard fashion, and Gil Hodges, the manager, made a slow walk. It looked like he was going to the mound. He walked right by the pitcher. Then it looked like he was going to talk to Bud Harrelson. He walked right by Bud Harrelson, and then he walked all the way to left field to talk to Cleon Jones, and he asked him if there was anything wrong with him. Cleon said no. Then he said, "Come with me." And he let him off the field, and he didn't play for about 4 or 5 games, and the Nets were battling the Cubs for first place at that point. 1 strike to count to Greg Jeffries. I mean to Kevin McReynolds. And it's strike 2. This ball hit hard down the left field line. It'll be extra bases. Magadan on his way to third. The throw into the cutoff man, and McReynolds eases in with a 2-base hit. So McReynolds with a bunt base hit, and now a double. And the Mets have runners at second and third.
Only the second extra base hit for the Mets in this game. They have 12 hits, 2 doubles. Magadan has to stop at third, of course. Mets have had base runners in every inning, and I mean a lot of base runners.
And that base hit will bring up Darryl Strawberry, who is 1 for 1, a walk and a sacrifice fly with an RBI. And the first pitch, ball 1. Strawberry hits it up the middle, and a base hit. 2 more runs to score. Magadan first, McReynolds second. And the Mets lead it by a score of 8-0, and Strawberry with his second and third runs batted in.
I guess in Manhattan, singles bars are very important. I guess this would be a good place to put one. 11 singles in this game. That's the 11th single. We're only in the 5th inning. Wonder what the record for singles in one game is.
Got to be very high. And the pitch to Howard Johnson is taken for ball one. Howard has walked twice and struck out.
Our Miss Everything, Anita Bonita, will check that out for us. Have that answer momentarily.
And Johnson takes again, ball two.
You know, it's funny, the Boston Red Sox just set an American League record of doubles in a game. They had 12 last week. The Mets with 11 singles so far, and still in the 5th inning.
2 balls, no strikes, and Johnson hits it hard, and Dickie Thon comes up with a backhand play. The throw to second base retires the side. But in the inning, the Mets get 2 more on 3 hits, and the score as they leave 1, the Mets 8, and the Phillies nothing. And here's a word from AT&T. And the Mets did it in 1985 on July 4th and July 5th. Total of 23, and we'll tell you a little bit about that as the leadoff batter for Philadelphia, Darren Daulton, takes the first pitch for ball one. Mets leading 8-0. And Daulton hits one high in the air to deep right field. It's way back, going. It is gone. Goodbye. Darren Daulton breaks up the shutout, being pitched by David Cohn with his 8th home run of the year.
Oh, there are a lot of solo shots hit in situations like this. Pitchers don't want to walk hitters. They try to get ahead of them. And in the process, the big, strong hitters a lot of times will take advantage of that. And Daulton does that. First run for the Phillies. A fastball down and in. Daulton takes care of the rest of it.
16th home run given up by David Cohn, and Daulton has put Philadelphia on the scoreboard. And now the batter will be Von Hayes. Hayes 0 for 1 with a walk, and he takes strike 1. Getting back to the most singles in a game, the Mets did it against Atlanta in 1985. It was a 19-inning ball game that started on July 4th and ended at 3:55 on July the 5th. Also doing it, the Giants against Chicago in 1931. They had 23 singles.
That was a 9-inning game.
9-inning game. That's right. And Von Hayes fouls it off. The count 1-2. Two the count to Von Hayes. That's leading by a score of 8-1. That was a 4th hit given up by Cohn. Now he comes back and picks up a strikeout as he gets Von Hayes. Cohn's 4th strikeout. That'll bring up Dale Murphy.
Right fielder, Dale Murphy.
Murphy 1 for 2 in this game. Fastball for a ball. And the fastball is fouled back into the stands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Murphy 1 for 3 yesterday against the Mets in a Philly uniform, and now 1 for 2 today. And he hits a high fly ball to deep center field, moving Miller back to the warning track. Look out. Miller makes the catch and backs into the fence. What a good play.
When Keith Miller started out this season, he was the Mets' regular center fielder. He messed up a few balls early in the season, but some of it, or a few of those balls, weren't his fault. I mean, anybody would have misjudged it. But he's turned in, he's an adequate center fielder. His athletic ability will make him an adequate center fielder.
He can outrun some mistakes with that good speed.
Right.
Batter John Kruk 0 for 2. He's lined out twice. And now he hits another one to center field, and again Miller makes the play, and that will end the inning. So bottom of the 6th inning, and the leadoff batter Tuffle with a drive to left field. Moving back is Von Hayes, and he gets to it. So Tuffle, who had singled in the 3rd, 1 for 3 for the day, makes a bid for another home run. He's had 3 home runs in his last 5 games, and it falls short.
Timmy looking fastball in. He gets it and gets under it just a wee bit, and Hayes makes the play.
Bruce Ruffin, the pitcher, in relief of Don Carmen. And Ruffin will now work to Orlando Mercado. Mercado 1 for 2 with a walk and the first pitch a ball. Carmen lasted just 4 innings, was charged with 6 runs. This ball hit in the air to center field. Dykstra there. 2 men away. That'll bring up David Cohn. Mets 8 runs on 13 hits. They have made no errors. The Phillies 1 run on 4 hits, and they made 1. 2 men out, bottom half of the 6th inning. Tomorrow it'll be Doc Gooden as we go back to night baseball. Gooden with a record of 11-6. Pat Combs will be on the mound, a left-hander with a record of 6-8. Cohn takes a strike. One ball, 1 strike. Wind must be blowing in Chicago. No score after 4. St. Louis there. 1-2 the count. Cohen has walked and scored. As a matter of fact, the walk setting up 2 runs for the Mets in the 2nd when they took a 3-0 lead. He also has grounded out and struck out. Tapped out in front of the plate. Fielded there by Dalton. The toss to first base retires the Mets in order. First time the Mets have gone down in order.
Runners at 1st and 2nd and 1 out. Tommy Herr lined a single to right field, or to left field. And Von Hayes, in trying to score, slipped coming around 3rd. He was an easy out, and that turned the game around. A bunt attempt. Good play, Cohn. 1 out.
Well, checking out the Sears financial update. As of 3 p.m. today, the Dow Jones up 17.57 points. S&P 500's up 31 cents. Gold is down $1.30, and silver is down 1 cent. Our Sears financial update as of 3 p.m. today.
Charlie Hayes is 0 for 2. He has struck out and flied to right. Ball 1. Charlie coming to the Phillies along with Terry Mulholland, Dennis Cook, and the Steve Bedrosian trade last June 18th. 1-1 to Hayes. Bedrock's having his problems this year with the Giants. The Giants having problems recently and losing today 3-2 to Houston. How about Houston? The Houston Astros have the second best home record in baseball and are 14-40 on the road.
That's hard to believe.
14-40. Man. Still 1-2 to Hayes.
Giants have now lost 5 of their last 6. They were within 3.5 games of Cincinnati. They're now 6.5 back.
So like New York weather, the division races can change in a hurry. Still 1-2 to Charlie Hayes. 8-1 Mets here in the 7th.
Well, you've heard of clubs being tailored to their ballpark. Houston making it ridiculous.
Time is called. The bad boy going over, Joey going over to retrieve a ball, and he had some help from 2 youngsters about 9 years old right below us down here. They were helping him out spotting the ball. They were spotters. This one just outside 2-2. Three and 2.
Did you ever have help from a non-deck batter on a ball that got away when you're catching, Tim?
You never trust on-deck batters. They don't tell you the truth.
Over there.
Did he go too far? Yes, says Fred Brocklander. Strikeout number 5 for Cone. 2 outs and Dickie Thon coming up. Well, how do we get to this spot? 8-1 Mets. The Mets scoring on a bases loaded walk by Howard Johnson in the first, and then they added 2 on a double by Jeffries in the second. In the fourth, they added 3 RBIs by Jeffries, Strawberry, also a run scoring on an error, and then in the 5th inning, the Mets added 2 more on a single up the middle with 2 outs by Strawberry and a solo home run by Von Hayes. Made it 8-1. It's still 8-1. After 6.5 here at Shea, Cone and the Mets are cruising. As you see on our, I feel the same way about Topps photographers as John Kruk does. Slider for a strike, 2-2. John Kruk says that Topps photographers usually take your picture before a day game after you just got up out of bed. Right. And this card lives in perpetuity. People continue to say, man, you're an ugly dude. John Kruk said you'd be ugly too if you just woke up, usually with the chew of tobacco in your mouth or something. There's John. Funny guy, great sense of humor. Two and 2 to Miller. Nope, he didn't go. 3-2. Bruce Ruffin in relief of Don Carmen. Carmen going 4 innings, giving up 6 runs. And the fastball is low, so Miller's on base for the 4th time this afternoon. Dave Magadan coming up. Magadan's been on base 3 times. The top of the order has been on base 10 times. Fastball is inside. A ball and no strikes to Dave Magadan. One and 1 to Magadan. Fans, it's the lucky of the 7th. It's the bottom of the 7th, and a lucky fan could win $100 and a chance for a $10,000 bonus. Fastball is low, 2-1 to Magadan. That bonus would be coming from Budweiser as the designated Bud batter. Stay tuned to Kiner's Corner for all the details. We will be having a Kiner's Corner following the game today. All the wrap-up action in the National League. San Francisco has just tied Houston 3-3, bottom of the 4th. Fly ball to center field. Dykstra over, back, makes the catch. 1 out.
Checking out the Nissan National League scoreboard, no score. The Cardinals in Chicago, top of the 6th inning. Montreal later against Pittsburgh. Tie ball game, the Giants in Houston. The game tied at 3, top of the 4th. San Diego in Atlanta later, and the Dodgers in Cincinnati later.
Greg Jeffries takes a fastball high and in. Speaking of Kiner's Corner, recently Ricky Horton was released from the St. Louis Cardinals. Ralph Kiner will not be having Ricky Horton on Kiner's Corner. You ought to fly him in. I mean, this one popped up left side. Here's a guy who has pleaded with you for decades. He used to practice in front of his mirror in Poughkeepsie. And you're still not going to have him on. You ought to have him on as a civilian.
I think we'll have to do that as we check out the Nissan American League scoreboard. Texas and Cleveland, Detroit playing Toronto, Milwaukee playing Minnesota, Chicago and Kansas City. 1 game in progress, no score. Bottom of the 2nd, Baltimore and Oakland. Yankees playing Seattle, and Boston plays California.
Strike to McReynolds. 0-1 to Kevin. 2 out, 1 on, 8-1 Mets. Ricky Horton probably practicing as we speak.
I can't tell you how many times we tried to get him on, but he always got knocked out of the box.
Foul back, 0-2. Well, there are just some things that should take precedence. I mean, if a man is 8 years old and he practices going on Kiner's Corner, I mean, whether he does well or not, you got to have him on just to see his imitation of how he used to practice. Get a mirror for him.
Nobody said life was fair.
Ball and 2 strikes to McReynolds here in the 7th inning.
We were going to put him on at a pregame Kiner's Corner, but he warmed up badly.
Man, that's hard. Still 1-2 to McReynolds.
Maybe he'll hook on again.
Probably with an American League team. I mean, you ought to make an effort to give him a call and ask him. Fly him in. I mean, really, WWOR's got a ton of money. Fly him in.
Rick Miner, if he were.
Put it on Jeff Mitchell's personal expense account. It's 2-2 to McReynolds.
Our executive producer is dying right now.
Or you could send a Mitsubishi after him.
There you go. That we might be able to work out.
Maybe hook him up on the phone or something.
No, I think we'll
anything.
set him an action recliner by lane so he can watch the games and the Kiner's Corner program.
Charlie Hayes throws out McReynolds to end it. Still 8-1 New York after 7, and we'll be back after this from Budweiser. To bat for Bruce Ruffin. Ruffin worked 3 innings, giving up 2 runs and 3 hits. So in your scorecard, I guess it would read Ruffin ready. Strike 1.
Ready with 8 hits as a pinch hitter and 29 at bats. He's driven in 5 runs, so he has been ready.
Another one fouled out of play, so it's 0-2 to Randy. Breaking ball outside, a ball and 2 strikes to Randy Reddy. 8-1. Mets on top here in the 8th inning. 2-2. Cone still throwing awfully hard, and he's a guy that probably maintains his stuff longer than any of the other Met pitchers. Possible exception of Viola. 3-2 to Reddy. Outside, barely. So a walk to Reddy, and he will be at first base with nobody out, and Len Dykstra coming up. Cone still complaining with Fred Brocklander. No complaints there. Look at those dudes. Trying to fit about 6 hands into 1 batting glove. Check that out. One size fits all. Outside with a breaking ball. Dykstra 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Ball 2, 2-0.
Dykstra reminds me of Richie Ashburn at the plate now, the way he hits.
Richie in the ballpark as a broadcaster for Channel 29 in Philadelphia, along with Harry Callis, Andy Musser, Chris Wheeler.
Richie batted .306 and was the MVP of the New York Mets in 1962. And Richie said, big deal, MVP of a team that lost 120 games.
This ball hit fairly deep to right field. Strawberry back, and he makes the play. The ball not carrying it all this afternoon. So Dykstra's retired on the fly to Strawberry, and that'll bring up Darren Daulton, who homered for the only Philadelphia run in his last at bat. Pretty good line right there. What a line, huh?
If David wins this one, it will be 7-1 over his last 11 game starts. 7 wins, 1 loss.
Daulton 1 for 2. Strike 1. Curve fouled right near our first base camera. All right. Got to charge those balls, don't you, Ralph?
Yeah. Take them on the rise.
Way outside, 1-2 to Daulton. 41,204 in the house paid today. Total 43,279. Nice crowd on hand. Folks in this area love their Mets, and with good reason. Since 1984, a contending team every year. Division champion, world champion in '86, division champion in 1988, and in the running this year, 2.5 games behind the Pirates, and leading in this game 8-1. Mets have gone to 3 World Series in 29 years, and they went to their first World Series quicker than any expansion team, certainly, in their 8th year. Fly ball, left field, foul, still 3-2 to Daulton. Did it on the strengths of some great young arms. Tom Seaver, Gary Gentry, Jerry Kuzman, Ollie Whitehurst warming up now. Nolan Ryan, Tug McGraw, Calvin Kuntz. Dalton walks. Second walk of the inning given up by Cone. The fourth walk of the game. And that'll bring up Von Hayes. Remember, the Phillies scored 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth in that last game in Philadelphia. Game won by the Mets 10-9. Ollie Whitehurst was the recipient of that rough outing that night, giving up 6 earned runs and 8 hits.
One of the things you really worry about is when a pitcher getting into the latter part of the ball game walks batters.
With a big lead, yeah. One of the signs of fatigue. So with 2 on and 1 out, Von Hayes the batter here in the 8th inning with the Mets 8 and the Phillies 1. Curve for a strike, 0-1. Good splitter right there. Well, the bottom fell out of that one. No balls, 2 strikes to Hayes.
David Cone hasn't thrown many splitters in this game. That one certainly a good one.
Curve line to second, and Jeffries couldn't get the ball out of his glove. Otherwise, it would have been a double play. Make that 2 outs on the liner by Hayes.
Ball really isn't hit that hard. Hayes fooled by the pitch, and Jeffries over to Johnson playing shortstop, but not in time.
Dale Murphy the batter. Dale 1 for 3 on the afternoon. The Phillies have only 4 hits. Boy, this one rifled to left center. That's going to score at least 1. Dalton was going to stop at second. Miller slipped. Dalton goes to third, and Murphy goes to second. So it's now an 8-2 ball game.
Well, the outfield very wet from last night's rain. As you can see, it's aquaplaning time out center field. And now the Phillies with a chance to get back in this ball game. They're trailing now by 6 runs with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, base hit now makes it interesting, and John Kruk has hit the ball hard all 3 times. And because of that, Buddy Harrelson is going to make a move. That's going to be all for David Cone. David pitching very, very well. Some wildness here in the 8th inning, and then the base hit by Murphy. Fine job by David Cone. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by New York Telephone, who reminds you that we're all connected. Charge to David Cone. Kruk 0 for 3. He's hit the ball hard 3 times. Strike 1 from Whitehurst. Inside, ball 1, 1-1 to John. John from Kaiser, West Virginia. Whitehurst just blew that ball right by him. Ball and 2 strikes to John Kruk. 2 on, 2 out here in the 8th inning. 8-2 New York. And John Franco warming up. Buddy Harrelson taking no chances. Just misses. Ball 2, 2-2. Curve, grounded foul. That's really the only ball he'll pull is the slow off-speed breaking ball. Pitch. Still 2-2. Kruk, a tough guy to strike out. Only 34 Ks on the season.
He's also a tough guy to hit. Never been hit by a pitch ball in his major league career.
About 2,200 at bats. Curve, grounded foul. Fielded by John Vukovich, the first base coach. John endearing himself to the crowd. Good politics.
Keep those Wolves happy.
There's the lucky recipient of the ball. The guy's trying to, they'll negotiate now. Come on, get it. Mercado, a nice block. So it's 3-2 to John Kruk. That looks like Mom, who is keeping the ball for safekeeping. I'll put it in my purse. I wonder how many balls she has in that purse. She's back for more. Look at this. She's going back. She says, hey, this is great. 3-2 to John Kruk. Fly ball left field. McReynolds over near the line. It's tailing away from him, and it drops in there for a ground rule double. 2-run score. It's now an 8-4 ball game.
Well, these runs will go against the record of David Cone, and once again the Phillies making a move. Ball sliced into the corner. Kruk primarily a opposite field hitter, and it's a grounds rule double.
About 2 yards fair down the left field line. It's 8-4 now. And Buddy Harrelson, I guarantee you, has visions of that game on July 25th when the Phillies scored 6 in the 9th. Mets won it 10-9. Strike 1 to Tommy Herr.
Those 2 walks are looming large right now.
That shuts the book on David Cone. Cone working 7 2/3, giving up 5 hits and 4 runs. Walking 4 and striking out 5. Curve is low, 1-1. 1-2, 2 balls and 1 strike. Fly, shallow left field. Johnson on the run, and it's Hojo who makes the play in foul territory. Philadelphia Phillies last June 18th for Juan Samuel. Strawberry lifts this one to center. Dykstra in, and he makes the play. And then over the winter, Samuel goes to the Dodgers for Mike Marshall and Alejandro Pena. Fans, did you know that after every game this season, points will be awarded to Mets pitchers for the AT&T Long Distance Award? Here's how it works. I think you're familiar with it. For every inning pitched, you get a point. We'll also add in the fractions. If a pitcher is credited with a complete game, he gets a bonus point. At the end of the season, the man on top will win the AT&T Long Distance Award. Mets have made a lot of local calls today. 11 singles and 2 doubles. 8 runs. One and 1 to Johnson. Read it and weep if you're a Phillies fan. If you're a Mets fan, be happy, for if the Mets win this game, they'll be 2 behind the Pittsburgh Pirates, who play tonight at 3 Rivers. Randy Reddy throws out Howard Johnson. 2 out here in the 8th inning. Tim Tuffle coming up. Phillies meet the Mets again tomorrow evening. It'll be Dwight Gooden against Pat Combs. Timmy 1 for 4 on the afternoon. Only Howard Johnson of the everyday players has not had a hit in this lineup. Line sharply off the glove of McDowell. Reddy finishes the play nicely. A 1
of Jackson, New Jersey, who was in the running. No one stole the base as of yet. So hang in there, Tom.
Charlie Hayes leads it off here in the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Phillies. Hayes 0 for 3. He has struck out twice and flied to right. And he takes strike 1, 1 and 1. Wally Whitehurst in relief of David Cohn. And if Whitehurst finishes this game, he will not get credit for a save. Pitch is high. 2 balls and a strike to Charlie Hayes. Line foul, 2-2 to Charlie. Mets on top 8-4 here in the 9th inning, trying to go to within 2 games of the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates playing tonight. What a matchup they have. Dennis Martinez against Doug Drabeck at 3 Rivers. High chopper towards second. Jeffries, tough play and a good play. Oh, fine play by Greg Jeffries. 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Well, Charlie Hayes has yet to have a good swing in this ball game. He chops this one off the hard ground, and Jeffries short hops it, gets the throw off in time, and they get Charlie by a couple of steps. Little short hopper there, and a nice job.
Dickie Thon now the batter. Tuffle will be alive at third. Thon likes to bunt. Good play by Greg Jeffries. Strike 1. third base. Another short hop, and Tuffle throws out fine. So Randy Reddy, the batter. Reddy, as a pinch hitter, walked and scored a run in the 8th inning. Ball 1 to Reddy. There's a strike. The Phillies hitters in the 9th inning doing something that you rarely see nowadays, taking a strike when you're down by more than 1 run in the late innings. Ready to curveball, grounded to short. Up with it, Howard Johnson, and he guns out Reddy. So Wally Whitehurst entered the game with 2 runners on in the 8th inning. He gave up a double to John Kruk in the left field corner. That drove in the 2 runners. But after that, he retired 4 in a row. He does not get credit for a save, but Buddy Harrelson, Mike Cubbage, and all the Mets will enjoy David Cohn's 8th victory of the year. Cohn now 8-5 on the year. The losing